What's up, guys? If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Also, please smash that like button on the video and enjoy the show. And so we have this pulled up right here. This was Operation Acid Gambit. Mm-hmm. Who was this guy? Carl Muse?
Kurt Muse. So Kurt Muse.
Kurt, yeah.
So Kurt Muse was a businessman. Okay, that's what he'll tell you. Living in Panama. But, it's not hard to figure out what was really going on. So he's a businessman. He started a Rotary Club, amateur radios, blah, blah, blah. But they were doing, signal intelligence. They were basically spoofing Noriega's communications. And then finally what happened was Noriega's military intelligence started to triangulate where he was emitting, because they kept moving the transmitter, right? And they finally caught up with him at some point, and they arrested him for espionage, okay? And he ended up in Modelo prison. So he was literally locked up on the second floor. He had a security there the entire time.
How big is the prison?
It's pretty good size. It was 4 stories. Actually, there's a picture on the internet also of the prison itself. It's 4 stories, and of course, like all prisons, it was overcrowded. They had more people in there they could fit in there, but they fit them all in there anyways.
How big's the staff approximately?
Well, at the time, they had 64 guards on duty, and they reinforced it with about another 60 Panamanian Defense Force soldiers because they knew we were coming. So we had 120 shooters on the ground level waiting for us.
Is it public how many people you had on this mission?
I think it is because they did a documentary on it. So it was 25.
25 of you guys against 125 of them.
Just there in the ground.
They're on the ground with the fortress.
Yeah. So there's another. So I'll add to the story, right? Because it's actually a really kind of cool story. So we land. I run up. I put the breaching charge on the doors. We finally breach the doors. I breach the doors. We go in. We go down to second level. The interrogator was given instructions that if anything happens outside the prison, gunfire, etc., he was to immediately go in and kill Kurt Muse. Done something.
Wait.
Yeah, he was going to execute him immediately.
Oh, the Panamanian.
Yeah, they were to execute him, right? And so,
and what? Hold on a second. If this guy's like an expatriate trying to overthrow a government, why are we trying to rescue this dude?
Well, there was no proof that that's what he was doing. Right? He was a businessman, right? And so
sounds like he had some friends.
Well, he may have, right? And so he knows the truth. But all we know is he's American. And he's being locked up, and there was other incidents, right? So everybody's going, oh, there we go, starting wars. Well, actually, at that point, up to this point, they'd already killed several Americans for no reason at all. They shot a second lieutenant on the street, and several other people. Yeah, in Panama, right? Noriega had lost his mind at this point, so they were actually now targeting Americans everywhere. And so this is one of the reasons we decided we need to go in there, and we knew Kurt Muse was in prison. We're like, let's get this guy out. He's an asset as well. So that particular mission was the spearhead for the entire operation. We led with that operation. We had to get him out first before everybody else came in, the paratroopers, the Rangers, and so forth and so on. So we initiated the assault, so to speak, the invasion, if you want to call it that. The invasion. Yeah, what it is. We invaded the country, right?
Sounds like a Sylvester Stallone movie.
Well, think about it. They call it Just Cause, right? So it was a just cause. I don't know. Anyways, I'm not here to question all that. All I know at the end of the day is I know what they did. I know what the PDF was doing. They tortured a lot of people. They hurt a lot of people. They killed a lot of people, even their own. It was not a good regime at all. So, now we're in the building. We make it to the second floor, and here's an interesting story. So the interrogator lost his nerve, and I guess he wasn't, he was quaking in his boots, not sure what's going on, but he knew something was going on. There's a lot of gunfire going on right now, a lot of explosions. And as one of our teams breached the room where the interrogator was sitting, he got up and he ran into a shower stall, and he had a handgun, and he literally positioned himself in the shower stall with a weapon mounted up, a handgun, fake trained on the door, waiting for the first Delta operator to come through it. The first Delta operator came through it, who's no longer with us, was a guy named James. James saw him run in there. James followed him in there. James shot him 4 times in the chest. The guy never got his round off. Dropped him right there with a car 15. Speed, surprise, violence of action, right there it was. 3 tenets of combat. And so, so Muse was alive. We breached the jail cell door, got him out, put him on a helicopter.
Is he shitting himself?
Yeah. And, he should have been. and then what happened really was bad because
what took you guys so long?
yeah, no, he was happy. He was a happy camper that he was getting out of there because he was looking at probably going to get executed or never get out of prison for a very long time, if at all. So at this point,
imagine being in a Panamanian prison.
Yeah, I could think of worse prison being too. By the way,
I'm sure, but that's not a good one.
Yeah,
that's
no,
not high on my list.
No, it's not. You know, anywhere, any of the third world countries, for sure. I live in Indonesia. I know. Yeah, no. So, yeah, my dogs probably live better than some of these people do in some of these jails, man. But, anyways, so my team is now on the third level. I'm laying on a balcony and I'm engaging across the courtyard. There's Panamanian forces on the other side shooting back at us. We're shooting back at them. And the guard towers, a barbershop, blah, 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 blah. And it's pitch black and it's so much noise and flashes of light. There's a blackout now. It's just total chaos. And as I'm laying there, we're lined up waiting to go to the roof and the helicopters are going to come back and pick us up. All right, the 4 helicopters, the little birds. And you could hear them buzzing. And they had to land 2 by 2. So what I didn't know was Kurt was the first guy out. That team brought him out first.
How many guys are on the ground in the prison with you?
Well, we had guys on support positions, maybe a total of about 12 inside there, right? And so they get him out. They pack him up, put helmet on him, body armor, pack him in the middle of a helicopter. They fly off. As they fly off the roof, they get shot down, and they crash into an alley, right? So we don't know that yet. We didn't know that happened. I'm laying downstairs on the second floor. I'm shooting away, and I'm waiting for somebody to tap me and go, okay, let's go. We're time to move. And nothing's happening. And I can hear helicopters coming and going. I'm like, okay, should we be leaving here soon? And so I remember reaching back with my hand to find my teammate, and I don't feel nothing. And then I reach back with my leg, and I start sweeping the floor, trying to feel somebody's foot or something. And I realize they're already gone. They forgot I was laying on the floor. They couldn't see me because it's so dark and all the gunfire. They literally left me inside the prison. And they're on the roof getting on the helicopters, and I'm laying there, and I can hear the Panamanians coming up the stairs. I can hear all the glass break. I can hear them talking in Spanish, blah, 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 and they're coming up to fight, And I'm laying there and go, holy shit, they left me in the prison. So I get up, and I run like a scalded dog up the stairs, run out on the roof, and thank God there's a helicopter still sitting there. And I run over to my seat, but somebody else is sitting in it. And I'm we're like, it's my seat, and I'm starting to panic.
Fuck off the helicopter.
And I don't know where the confusion set in. And finally, he realized he was on the wrong helicopter. He got up and ran back to his helicopter, and I got my seat back, and we flew off. We were supposed to be the last helicopter out of 15 helicopters. No, I'm sorry. We were supposed to be the first helicopter. No, sorry, the last helicopter out of 15 to land at Howard Air Force Base. We were the only helicopter to come back, and we're landing and go, where's everybody at? And we had what's called JMAU. It's basically a joint medical unit. They were already set up, all the doctors, everything. They're all standing on the on the tarmac, hands crossed, waiting for us to come in, ready for casualties, and we're the only helicopter lands. And my team leader looks at me and goes, you guys stay here, hold on. He runs over there and talking, blah, 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 blah. And he comes back. He goes, okay, put a fresh magazine in. We're going to go back in. Precious cargo just got shot down. And I'm like, oh, shit. Now I got scared. I wasn't scared before that, but now I'm scared because I know where we just came from. We had stirred the hornet's nest. You know what a 50 caliber tracer looks like when it's coming at you?
Nope.
A flaming basketball. Yeah. And they're coming at us underneath our freaking helicopter. I'm lifting my legs and shit. Go, holy shit, And guess what? They weren't
Do you
even.
have the handlebar back then?
No. I couldn't really grow much. I was still pretty young back then. I had a little blonde thingy. Everybody thought I was Chuck Norris.
You didn't have
I had the Chuck Norris look back then. Everybody thought I was Chuck Norris.
Yeah, but this is so good.
Yeah, I know.
This is good.
We'll pretend like I had it.
I want to pretend. Let's keep going.
But yeah, so anyways, I'm like, oh my God, So we start spinning up, get ready to go back, and then we start seeing other helicopters come back. And then we got the word that one of our ground units had recovered the crashed helicopter. They had taken casualties, and the only guy that actually didn't get hurt was Kurt Muse. If you read the story, and by the way, it's in my book, not again trying to put a plug in it, but American Badass.
Link in description.
Yeah, and like these documentaries. So what happened was when the helicopter crashed, it was sitting on its side. Hinges were still running, rotors were running. A couple of guys on one side had been shot. One of the other guys, James, the guy that killed the interrogator, came off the pod, and we're all tied in. He was swung underneath the skid. The skid took his toes off one of his feet. And my team leader, he was knocked unconscious. Kurt Muse gets out. He thinks everybody's dead. It's just him now. So he grabs my assistant team leader's pistol, and he's he's gonna fight for himself. And as he does that, he starts to stand up into the rotor blade. And my assistant team leader sees it, jumps up and grabs him and pulls him down. As he does that, he takes the rotor strike to the head in the process. Literally shaves the helmet off of his head, knocks him out. And so now everybody's unconscious, right? And then luckily, the quick reaction force that was on standby, they rolled in with APC. They picked everybody up and hauled them off.
APC?
Armored Personnel Carrier, sorry. For you non-military.
No, I'll
types.
stop you when you do it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, they call them M113s at the time, little like square box-looking tanky things. But the irony of it is, Tom, my assistant team leader on the team, that was his second helicopter crash in a month. He on the rehearsal.
Survived both of them.
Well, he actually had 3. So the first one was a hard landing. He got banged up pretty bad on that one for the rehearsals for the attack, for the rescue. Then the second one, he gets shot down. He's on medication for that thing, for the head injury. When we go back 5 months later, we're in the Panama, in the Darien jungle, which, by the way, is all over the news with, illegals coming across here. We were actually in the Darien jungle, and we're getting ready to go fly and do another mission, and our helicopter crashes again, a Black Hawk.
Who the fuck is driving this helicopter?
They're different helicopters, but it's Task Force 160. Actually, we're alive because of the pilots. They're that good. This particular helicopter had a catastrophic failure of the number 1 engine. And we had,
That'll do it.
we had an auxiliary tank with another 400 gallons worth of jet fuel inside the helicopter. We had 15 packs, personnel and equipment, 4 crew. We were pretty heavy. And as we were flying away, the number 1 engine went out. We lost lift, hit a tree, snapped the rotor blades off, and we turned into a giant lawn dart. And went flying through the jungle with no lift, crashed. And that was the one that paralyzed Tom for the rest of his life. In fact, he's still paralyzed to this day. And yeah, it was a bad thing. Actually, there was a couple of guys that were paralyzed. I ended up with a broken back. Spent 5 months in a body cast. But I'm okay. My back still functions, and I'm still standing up, so I'm grateful for that. But that's the life and times of a Delta operator, and that's just one of thousands of stories.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. Please hit that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.